So first, I want to welcome all of you all here. I'm just looking out and looking, seeing, imagining who's here. So I like to do a little roll call before I say a little bit more. So how many people here are, you've never done social media before? You're like new to it, you came to find out about it. Very good, brave souls. Thank you for raising your hands. How many of you all use some form of social media, Facebook or Twitter or something else, at least once a week? Hands stay up for 2 to 3 times a week? Daily. Okay, good. So we get a sense of hourly. Hourly? Is anybody going to be Twittering, doing some tweeting? So what did we agree on? Did we agree on the hashtag is BaruchNP?
Yeah.
And I would also add a hashtag for nonprofits so people who are searching through the tweets can find them through the series of things that are being tweeted about nonprofits. So how many of you all manage your organization's social media? Okay, wow. Awesome. Wow. How many of you think that social media is a time suck? So it very much can be. Hopefully out of today's conversation, you'll find some really innovative and useful ways that won't just have it be a time suck. It can be really enjoyable time suck. It really can be, right? And it can become an obsession if you let it, but you don't have to let it. So whether you're a late adopter, as we call them, somebody who's just learning about social media, or you are an early adopter or somewhere in between, we believe this will be a perfect panel. You're in the perfect place. You'll have an opportunity after the panelists share with you to ask questions and to share. When we do get to that part, we'll be asking you to go to the microphones that are in the back of the room, and I'll give you a few other guidelines for that. In a second, I'm going to sit down. I just wanted to mention, I've been Twittering. I think I've been Twittering for about I think it might be a year. I can't remember when I started. It's such a part of my fabric. I'm very good at tweeting at conferences, and I left my phone or at meetings, so I'm not going to be. I'm going to be Twitterless up here. Twitching.
You can log in from mine if you want.
But I've been invited. Twitter is a great vehicle for being connecting with strangers. You know, your parents told you not to talk to strangers. You're adults now. And talking to strangers in Hong Kong or Europe or Africa is very accessible through Twitter and Facebook and other social media. So as a result of my just being on Twitter, I'm going to be speaking at the Twitter 140 Characters Conference. There's been a series of conferences that just started here in New York in June, one in LA that's coming up, I think, later this month, and one in London and some other places around the world, where people are not just talking about how to use Twitter, but how Twitter is changing the world with whatever you're using it for. So I talk about racism, racism as a resource. So I just wanted to share that because don't get stuck at the technology if that's some phobia you might have. There are many, many ways that you could use social media. So I'm going to introduce our esteemed guests, and I'm going to move over to do that. So you're going to be hearing from each of our panelists for about 5 to 7 minutes. The first speaker will be Allison Fine. Allison Fine is a speaker and author of the book Momentum, Igniting Social Change in the Connected Age. And I'm going to highlight, even though you have this material at your chair, I'm going to highlight some of my favorites. Because I have that ability as the moderator. So that book came out in 2006, Momentum, Igniting Social Change in the Connected Age. She's a senior fellow on the democracy team at Demos, a network for change and action in New York City. She has a monthly podcast for the Chronicle of Philanthropy called Social Good. And she's a frequent contributor to the Huffington Post, Personal Democracy Forum, Alternet, and the Chronicle for Philanthropy. And finally, I'll say that she is a trustee and fire and police commissioner. You were. I love this, of Sleepy Hollow, New York.
Yeah.
through Sleepy Hollow.
So Allison Fine is the first.
There are no fires in Sleepy Hollow.
Well, because of my good work. I think I was just sitting around.
The next speaker will be Deanna Zant. And Deanna Zant is a media technologist, consultant, and author, and she has a forthcoming book called Share This: How You Will Change the World with Social Networking. She works with key progressive media organizations, including Alternet and Jim Hightower's Hightower Lowdown. She also hosts Tech Girl Tips on Grit TV with Laura Flanders. And her book that I mentioned, Share This, is being published by Barrett Kohler and comes out in May 2010. She's a leading expert in women and technology. She has a background in linguistics, advertising, telecommunications, and finance. It's a great combination.
My parents are very proud.
And she provides beginner and advanced workshops on social media, both online and in person. My favorite tip in her bio is that she illustrates graphic stories and comics and volunteers for I Love Dogs, dog rescue organization, Rat Terrier Rescue. Finally, on my left here, Andrew Roche, thank you. He's the founder of the Personal Democracy Forum. He is a social entrepreneur, a futurist, and founder of the forum, which is the co-sponsor of this event. This forum is an annual conference, the Personal Democracy Forum, and community website that focuses on and promotes the intersection of politics and technology. He is the co-founder of an award-winning group blog called Tech President, which followed the 2008 and continues to follow the 2008 presidential candidates and their use of the web and how voter-generated content, a term he coined, is affecting and was affecting the campaign. He is a noted authority both online and on television, CNN, ABC, CBS, and you can name all the major networks. He is called on to talk about internet and politics in the major media channels, as well as being quoted often, regularly in the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, USA Today, et cetera, et cetera. I particularly loved that he proposed the creation of a national tech corps that would augment the National Guard and provide emergency technical, communication, and database support in the event of natural disasters. And this came to him following 9/11. The idea, now called NetGuard, was approved in a bill by the U.S. Senate, and the reason why I like it is you'll never hear a vote like this, 97-0, and is now being implemented by the Department of Homeland Security. He also is on the board of PopTech, one of my other favorites, along with TED, an annual social innovation conference, which is coming up, right? Next week. This week. And he lives and works in New York City. And so these are our panelists. Can you please give them a round of applause? So we're going to dive right in, and they each have something to share. So
we begin.